This is how lobbying works, and this is what MAG is all about.
Yes, I am broadly supportive of motorcycles. I think they're a very viable means of transport.
If I'm elected mayor, I will routinely be turning up to work on my Kawasaki and walking into the office in my helmet.
But definitely as a sort of a more sustainable, form of transport, it makes total sense.
I'll just include them from day one. I would make sure there are representatives in the room at every stage of decision making.
On the 1st of May, as well as local elections for councils and such like, there will be 4 new metro mayors elected into positions around the country. 2 of these locations, it will be totally new posts for new metro mayors, and 2 of them will be for existing mayors to be re-elected, or new incumbents to be elected into those positions. So the 4 areas where there are metro mayor elections on the 1st of May are Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Combined Authority, Greater Lincolnshire Combined Authority, Hull and East Yorkshire Combined Authority, and the West of England Combined Authority. Now, what we at MAG have done is we've contacted every single candidate. I think there's 22 candidates in total that are standing across these 4 different elections around the country. We've contacted every single one of them to ask them 4 simple questions on their position on motorcycling. Now, out of those 22 candidates that we contacted, we got written responses from 10 of those candidates, and a further 4 of those candidates also agreed to do video interviews. Now, actually, I should point out there were actually 5 candidates that agreed to do video interviews with me. Unfortunately, the last one we had technical problems and we weren't able to get the connection work. And to be fair, that candidate who was worked for Hull and East Yorkshire did say that one of the things that she is campaigning on is better broadband access in the area. So that gives you a clue as to what went on there. But yes, in terms of why we do this, I think it's important for people to understand why we go through this process. Yes, there's a lot of work involved. You can argue that there's not an awful lot of people that are particularly interested in who gets elected as the metro mayor in their area. It's something that looks very distant and not important, and why should you care? And I get that. But from a MAG perspective, this is quite important, because these metro mayors do get to make decisions around transport in their regions. And interestingly, the outcome of the bus lane consultation that took place last year, the Department for Transport said that it would be working with metro mayors to look at how we can get consistency of access for motorcycles in bus lanes. So despite the fact that they wouldn't go with a default policy, the DFT did say that they would work with metro mayors. So it's therefore obviously quite important from our perspective to make sure that the metro mayors that get elected in these elections are actually positive about motorcycle access in bus lanes. And to be fair, most of the responses that we got did show that they were broadly supportive of motorcycle access in bus lanes. And another thing to note is that a couple of the candidates actually were motorcyclists. So yes, in theory, we could get motorcyclists being metro mayors. Wouldn't that be a good thing? So the responses that we got were, as you would expect, or the responses that we actually received were broadly supportive. There was no candidate saying, no, we are opposed to motorcycles in bus lanes or to motorcycles as part of the transport system. You wouldn't expect them to. They are, after all, politicians who are seeking your vote. But the important thing is that if they make these comments ahead of the election, if they do then get elected, we've got them, haven't we? They're on the hook, because we can go back to them and say, well, you wrote to us back in April saying that you would do this, this and this for motorcycling. So when are you going to actually deliver this? So we've built the relationships before the elections. If those candidates then get elected, we've got them on the hook, and we can then continue those relationships and hopefully get positive outcomes for motorcyclists. So if you would like to see the information that we've gathered, we've put it all together in one place. So we've put it together on a single web page which you can visit. We'll be putting a link with this video. Take a look, have a look. We're not trying to promote any candidate over any other. We are simply putting the information there so to help you make your decision as to which way you vote. And we would encourage you to vote one way or the other. Hopefully that you will find a candidate amongst the list of people who have responded that you feel that you can vote for. But the important thing is, if you don't vote, then you've not really got much right to complain after the fact if you get a candidate elected who isn't particularly positive about motorcycling. So yes, the information is there. Please do take a look at it. You can see all 4 interviews that I did with the candidates that were able to do the video interviews, and you'll be able to see all 10 written responses as well. So that's 10 out of the 22 candidates that are standing in those 4 elections. Hopefully though, we will be able to do a follow-up video not too far into the future saying which of the candidates got elected, or hopefully some of the candidates that were positive about motorcycling got elected, and possibly even do a follow-up interview with those candidates to see, okay, now you've been elected, you're in post, what are your plans, what are you going to deliver, and when are you going to deliver it? This is how lobbying works, and this is what MAG is all about. If you want to support the work that we do, please do consider joining MAG if you're not already a member. And even if you're not a member, please be aware of what we're doing, be supportive, and let all your mates know about it. This work has to be done if we want to see the future of motorcycling secured, and if we want to see a future of motorcycling that is better, then this is the way to do it.